Meanwhile, when Hajin was enveloped by the teleportation item, his vision went completely dark, and as the teleportation item slowly tore apart and disappeared, allowing him to regain his sight, Hajin then confusedly observed his surroundings. Although being hit by a teleportation item like this was indeed a disaster, after observing his surroundings, Hajin let out a sigh of relief because he realized the place he was in didn't seem to be outside the tower, but, while Hajin was still adapting to the sudden change of location, he then sensed something flying toward him at high speed from a certain direction. Hajin didn't think too long and immediately jumped to avoid it. The thing flying toward him turned out to be a flying sword controlled by the man who teleported him here. Seeing the man standing on a cliff, Hajin then felt annoyed. He asked him why he was so stubborn. The man clicked his tongue in annoyance at his question. He also felt irritated with Hajin. He was trying to take the princess without causing a fuss, but someone got in his way. He didn't care who he was, but, while preparing a fighting stance, the man then told him he had to kill him here. Hajin fell silent for a moment while staying alert, seeing that, after observing, the man had 7 short swords. It seemed he used mana to control those swords for long-range attacks. Judging by Rachel's difficulty fighting him, he was at least intermediate grade. The spatial teleportation device was an expensive magic tool. If it was really Lancaster who sent him, it meant he was serious. Thinking about that, Hajin could only sigh, but he felt this situation was better. He realized Rachel's spirit would struggle against him, so he felt it was better for him to face him since he had stigma and could adapt to any fight. But, Hajin suddenly froze after thinking that, and right after, a surge coursed through his entire body. All his muscle fibers seemed triggered by something. It turned out to be due to the body enhancement effect that had activated. Hajin was relieved because all the elixirs he consumed paid off. He also didn't expect to use it so soon. Although the process sounded long, it only took a few seconds. After the man prepared his fighting stance, he then started his attack by controlling his flying swords. Seeing that, Hajin showed no signs of panic. He then swiftly took out his pistol, and as the swords moved closer to attack him, Hajin activated bullet time to dodge the attack. Not stopping there, Hajin then aimed at the man and fired several shots at him, but unfortunately, his shots were easily blocked by the man using his flying swords. Seeing that he could easily block Hajin's shots, the man smirked mockingly and said to him, "I thought you were hiding something great, but this is all." Hajin looked surprised that his attack was denied so easily, but, while he was thinking of a way, he suddenly sensed something from behind. It was one of the man's flying swords that slipped past his senses and was now attacking him. Hajin could only curse, seeing that the distance between him and the flying sword was so close that he thought it was impossible to dodge. But, something unexpected suddenly happened. As if controlled by something, his body suddenly moved on its own, allowing him to dodge the flying sword's attack. The impact of the flying sword's attack was so powerful it destroyed the cave wall it hit. Seeing that, Hajin could only confusedly wonder what just happened. It was as if he could predict the flying sword's attack aimed at him. The man also looked shocked seeing Hajin dodge his sneak attack, but he didn't stop there. He continued controlling his flying swords to keep attacking Hajin, while dodging the flying swords controlled by the man. Hajin then tried to recall what happened. He wondered if it was because he used bullet time, but he quickly dismissed that thought as soon as it came. Because bullet time only made him move faster, it didn't let him predict enemy attacks. But, while he was confused about the reason, he then found an answer to his question when he once again dodged a flying sword attack controlled by the man. The man then felt annoyed seeing Hajin repeatedly dodge his attacks. The man flew his swords using mana, then pulled them back from the air to redirect them using the same mana. It was still considered a long-range attack, while his own talent, Master Sharpshooter, was the highest-ranked skill among all ranged type skills, so if the attack was long-range, he could read its trajectory. As if to prove his assumption, Hajin then fired his pistol in a certain direction, and his shot precisely hit the path of the flying sword. But, even so, this didn't immediately get him out of the situation. It didn't mean he could dodge it even if he could predict it. Bullet time also only lasted for 3 minutes. If this continued, the situation would turn bad because he would run out of energy first. Realizing that, Hajin then shifted his gaze to his stigma. It was the only way left. Until now, he couldn't manifest many things because his stigma only had 2 marks, but now, with his stigma having 3 marks, Hajin thought he should be able to try it. The situation he was facing now was truly a dead end. The man could block all the bullets he fired with his flying swords, and his jumping range wasn't enough to close their distance. Especially since he had already used ether once. he was sure the man was wary of it now. If so, Hajin then tried to make a move that could only be done once. He activated his stigma. The light emitted by its activation was so bright it blinded the man, and when he finally regained his sight, he was confused seeing Hajin suddenly disappear. He was puzzled about what happened and where he went. Amidst his confusion, Hajin, whom he was looking for, suddenly appeared behind him with his pistol aimed at him. This was the golden opportunity Hajin was seeking. As long as he could ambush him, he only needed one shot. The man then felt anxious and panicked seeing Hajin suddenly behind him at such close range, and while the man was still wondering how he got there, Hajin pulled the trigger and shot at him. But, the man didn't feel too panicked seeing his shot. He thought no matter how many times he shot, he would have the last laugh as long as he could block all his attacks. But, seeing the man block his shot again, Hajin grinned. He then said a word that stunned the man. An opening. After all preparations were complete, Hajin then executed the final part of his plan. He released the wolf spirit Evangel gave him and ordered it to tear the man apart.